introspective, more shant, more all that. So that's how it is. But as we go, we will learn more and more. Okay. Any other thing anybody wants to say? Okay, Sheila ji, you can read verse
Okay, thank you.
37.
The blessed Lord say, it is desire, it is anger, born of the active, all devouring, all sinful, know this as the foe here in this world. It is desire, it is anger. Desire is the inner devil in the individual bosom. We have seen earlier that desire is nothing other than our own spiritual ignorance, expressing itself in our intellectual personality. This statement in this stanza is not to be understood as enumerating two different things. Desire itself, under certain circumstances, gains expression as anger, a constant agitation of the mind, expressing as an uncontrollable impatience to gain something, is called desire. Desire is generally for something other than ourselves. In the clash of existence, being and circumstances may come between ourselves and the objects of our desire. And in such case, our desire impulses sticking at the obstacle gain the ugly look of anger.
Striking at the obstacle. Okay. So, one thing that for us, take home message over here is whenever we are angry, self analyze it, you will know that it's your own desire over there. Because lot of times we think, oh, our anger is justified, and one of the psalmists said there's no such thing. You know, the more if you have a desire, it's going to turn into anger. So that's why the saints and sages, now some people might say, अरे वो महात्मा था, उसने श्राप क्यों दे दिया? No, let's not go in that arena because they are त्रिकालदर्शी. They know श्राप में भी कुछ वो ऊपर से दिखा रहे हैं. Their anger is more controlled anger. Ours is more जो बह जाता है, we just do destructive stuff. उनके एंगर में भी कुछ भला होता है. Like Swami ji used to say, anger should be like a little tool in your pocket. And he was telling an example that how anger sometimes we need to, it's like एक बच्चा है 2 साल का, और वो उंगली डालने वाला है इसमें इलेक्ट्रिक सॉकेट में, और तुम दूर बैठे हो वहाँ पे. You cannot say, beta, don't do it. You will be shouting and showing your red eyes and like be angry. But that's a controlled anger. You're not hating the kid. You don't want him to stop something. That's the way it's used, and it's okay. But हम लोग ये वाले एंगर की बात करें, वो डिज़ायर से कनेक्टेड है कि मेरी डिज़ायर जब मुझे नहीं मिली एंड मैं एंगर में बह गई, तब डिस्क्रिमिनेशन मेरा ख़त्म हो चुका है यहाँ पे. सो ये दिस डिस्टिंक्शन वी हैव टू रिमेंबर दैट. But I thought that, in the beginning when we learned that, it was like, oh my God, it's my own problem. It really makes you think, because this is a complete science over here. And if somebody wants to remember, go back to those verses in chapter 2. I think they are from 56 onwards. There are two verses about this ladder of fall, we call it. Okay, how thinking of object, simple thinking leads to this, but in the beginning it's easier to control. That's another very important thing that the Swamis bring out. When it has a likes and dislike stages, and beginning में थोड़ा सा attachment होता है, अगर आपने इंट्रोस्पेक्शन किया और आपने विजडम से उसको कंट्रोल कर लेते हो, एक बार वो काम और क्रोध में बदल जाता है ना, फिर उसका विनाश निश्चित है. विनाश मतलब स्पिरिचुअल विनाश. It's not like he's going to die. Some people actually kill in anger also, in extreme cases. जिसको wrath बोलते हैं. Anger can turn into wrath also. So that's what we have to know about this. Go ahead.
Thus, whenever emotions of acquisition and possession of an object flow incessantly toward the object, the bundle of thoughts so flowing is called desire. While the same emotion, when they are obstructed from reaching their desired object and get refracted by an intermediate obstacle are called anger. The desire, anger, emotion is the very devil in us that compels us to compromise with our own intellectually known higher value of existence and attempts us to perpetrate sins. Greater the desire, greater the power in pull towards the sinful and the lost. Much desire has come to manifest itself in our intellect. It ensures the wisdom in us.
Enshrouds the wisdom in us.
Enshrouds.
So yeah, तो
Yes,
basically इन्होंने कहा desire, anger, emotion बोला इसको. So हमारा जो wisdom है उसको cover कर देता है. और अभी वो next verse में आएगा example कि वो कैसे cover करता है. राजसिक, तामसिक और all the three गुना, सात्विक, राजसिक, तामसिक, तीनों में covering होती है, मगर किस ढंग से होती है वो सब we will learn. But this is very, very important in psychology to contemplate upon what it is. Okay, and what else? the Satan, यहाँ पर क्या बोला, devil बोला है, मेरी बुक में Satan है, same thing. जैसे बोलते हैं ना कि devil is nowhere outside, कि कोई बाहर शैतान बैठा हुआ है हमको सता रहा है. It's all in our own mind. That's what it is. Shaitan is sitting in our own mind. Go ahead.
Okay. Desire and anger and their numberless children of sin and sorrow must ever come to breed on the marshy lands of a deluded intellect. To come under their sway is ignorance. To come to rule over them is wisdom.
So very nicely he summed. So these are, and remember the desire and anger and their numberless children. I already discussed. That Kam, Krodh, Lobh, Moha, Mad, Matsarya. So it's like, Lobh is greed, Mad is pride, Matsarya, jealousy. All these are children of these two only. But remember, where did they come from? Likes and dislikes. Likes and dislikes turned into this. Bhoot ban gaye ye log. Likes and dislikes. And they are deluded intellect se hota hai. So when our wisdom is not available to us, that's where all these things starts happening. Okay? And then the last conclusion he said, to come under their sway is ignorance, and to rule over them is wisdom. Very nicely put it. Okay.
The Lord now illustrates how desire is our foe and how it veils our discrimination.
So that's what I was saying, that is the next verse he's going to tell you that why it is our enemy and how it veils our discrimination. जो हमारी बुद्धि में wisdom है उसको कैसे ढक देता है वो बताएगा next week. So we will do that next week. I find this part of chapter 3 very, very interesting. The science of psychology is so good. And if we read this again and again and we contemplate upon it, we will have a more control over our emotions. Definitely. Anybody has any point, question, comment?
We shouldn't be on marshy lands then. We shouldn't have a marshy land.
Because marshy land, see how language is used. Marshy mein dal means फंस जाता है आदमी के अंदर.
It's
sunk into it. That's exactly
Beautiful.
right. Exactly right. So whenever they choose, the Swamis choose
It's
the
not
word.
a stable ground.
It's not a stable ground. And that's why you see most of us, when we are angry, बाद में हम लोग हमेशा regret करते हैं. We think, क्यों बोला मैंने ऐसा, फिर जाके हमको माफ़ी मांगनी पड़ती है, फिर माफ़ी मांगने में भी हम लोग को ईगो आ जाता है. So it's all lot more difficult. तो वो स्वामी जी saying पहले ही उसको रोक दो ना likes and dislikes के टाइम पे. कृष्ण भगवान ने बोल दिया don't come under the sway. हम लोग मानते क्या है उनकी बातें. That's why you have to go more in deep. अगर उनकी बात पहले ही मान ली और sway में नहीं आए तो ये सब होगा ही नहीं. But he has to tell Arjun everything through Arjun, us actually. True. Okay. So if nobody has any point, then now we can go to Kathopanishad. So I'm going to stop this recording here. Should we read, or maybe we should read it next time now? Yeah, it's already like almost, what's the time? 12:30, right? Yeah, we can read next time. Any question, comment on this particular thing? So right now it's just like जैसे बोलते हैं ना हिंदी में भूमिका बना रहे हैं वो लोग कि बिफोर दे गिव अ ब्रह्म ज्ञान. अभी तो चालू भी नहीं हुआ है, बट देयर इज अ लॉट टू लर्न बिफोर दैट. प्री क्वालिफिकेशन. So one of the thing is, this is a learning lesson for all of us in America, atithi. You know, if koi aa gaya, so don't tell them, hey, you didn't call me, this and that. You know, still take care of them. You know, इंडिया में अभी भी करते थे, पहले अभी नहीं होता शायद. When I was growing up, yeah, we used to go to people's home and our neighbors, you know, we had 2 different neighbors, Mr. Desai and Mr. Mehta, and हम लोग कभी भी धमक जाते थे उनके घर में. And they were means if we don't go now once a day, they will come and ask. I remember they used to come and knock. अरे उसकी तबीयत तो ठीक है ना, वो आई नहीं आज हमारे घर में. And we used to go and we used to kind of, you know, we'll go lie down on their sofa. We will eat their food. वो खा रहे होंगे तो हमको भी बिठा लेंगे खाने के लिए. I mean, that's how we grew up. It was so much fun if I think about it. अभी तो कोई आता भी नहीं है, you know. And now
हमारे नेबर्स एक मद्रासी थे, उनकी लड़की रोज हमारे यहाँ आती थी, हम उसको रोटी खिलाते थे. आदत पड़ गई रोटी खाने की, तो उसके लिए रोटी बनती थी उनके घर में.
I know, and I had a neighbor, you know, my brother and my bhabhi are listening. Brother will know this, you know, Mr. Mehta and Mrs. Mehta, and they didn't have any children, and they had a housekeeper, Vithabai. Vithabai was a Maharashtrian, but the couple was Gujarati, so she learned Gujarati food. So they make very good food, you know. Good Jews make the best, like, snacks and all that. She would always make extra and always call me. वो बुलाती थी मुझे आने के लिए. So then I used to love that food so much. कभी-कभी मेरे father angry भी हो जाते थे. Why you keep eating in their house? They might think we don't feed you. But they were doing it with so much love that if I didn't come, they used to feel bad. You know, that I'm not coming and eating. So I still remember their doklas and all this stuff. Oh my God. So this is what they are telling you over here, that, you know.
Can I say that Indian origin के जो हमारे counterparts हैं, they are still very hospitable even here. कोई बीमार हो उसको देखने जाओ तब भी उनके घर वाले कोई चाय बनाने लगेगा, कोई कुछ पूछेगा तुम्हें ये पीना है खाना है. So हम लोगों के तो अंदर ingrained है. अब आगे चल के क्या होगा we don't know.
We don't know. But it's a very sweet thing, no, to do that if somebody comes. And because sometimes in the Western culture they don't know. I remember that when I was staying with my brother, and there was one fellow who was giving me a ride because at that time I didn't have a car or something. He was giving me a ride, and my mother was there. Every time he would come to give me a ride, my mom would offer him food. So one day he asked me, "Why does your mom offer me food every time?" He was so confused. So I said, no, this is our culture. You know, that it's like this is how they show their care. You know that, you know. So और इंडिया में तो लोग ठूस के भी खिलाते हैं, which we are not used to it. बाबा अभी तो बिल्कुल भी काम नहीं चलता है. यहाँ पर उल्टा बोलेंगे, do you want me to become fat or what? Why you are pushing me so much? You know, but that's the way they did it. You know, offer food and everything. Yeah, very interesting. Okay. If nobody has a question, I wanted to bring a particular topic, just a brief one, but I want to give other people the opportunity first, if anybody has anything.
Yeah, you can go ahead.
I was just talking about, you know, there was some little, I think Kamla ji is here, discussion about, I think it was Gayatri Mantra. Joe had put some stuff that how it has these different devatas in it. And there was a discussion about, you know, what does the meaning of the words, Gayatri Mantra and Veda versus other people. So I just wanted to bring the topic that when we read the entire Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavad Gita is a sar of Upanishad, okay? whether Bhagwan is Nirakar or Sakar. Big debates always goes on. And Krishna Bhagwan is going to tell Arjun, look, I am both. You can catch me from any way you want depending on your mind. It does not matter. The journey will end at the same place. So it's very, very important to usko tattva se janna. That's how Krishna Bhagwan says. And sometimes, like there's a contradictory words over there. That there is no black and white there. And best example is if I put a stone on a table and I ask everybody, is this moving or unmoving? What will most of us will say?
It's not moving.
It's not moving. That will say. Show it to a scientist. He will say every part of it is moving because the atoms in it are continuously moving. So
Scientists will say that.
yes, but अभी कौन सी चीज सही है? Both are true. है कि नहीं? So it's very important because that's why I was saying that you have to have a very large heart and open mind. Otherwise, we get stuck on one side, and that's not what God is. And that's why I think that in this Devon Ke Dev Mahadev, once in a while, they who is Shiva or say who is Krishna. मैं हूँ भी और नहीं भी हूँ. मैं वो हूँ जो तुम जानते हो तो मैं वो नहीं हूँ. जो तुम जानते हो वो मैं नहीं हूँ और जो तुम नहीं जानते वो मैं हूँ. So मैं सब में हूँ और मैं किसी में नहीं हूँ. That is going to come in chapter, actually, let's see, chapter 7.
I think the question was that how does Krishna appear in Gayatri Mantra or something?
So, okay, I was coming to that. You can say it. Go ahead.
But main thing that I didn't answer on that was that there's a movie, I don't know if anybody has seen, called Stargate. Has anybody seen Stargate?
No.
It's a science fiction. It's on. So basically, when you go beyond the time dimension,
Yes, that's what I was
everything
coming to.
is 360 degrees happening. So there's a Egyptian monuments being built, and there's a Pentagon, there's a gate, and they go from one to the other side, and then they see what happened 4,000 years ago. So the idea is when the time dimension is not there, then it's totally different. So we think always sequentially,
Yes.
and everything is not sequentially.
That's very good point Joe brought. That's exactly what I was going to bring. That these people are called Trikal Darshi. Means they can see past, present, and future. And that dimension, Krishna Bhagwan is going to show Arjun in chapter 11 in Vishwarup Darshan. And when we cannot understand from our perspective because we are bound by time and space. But people who transcend that can experience it, number one. Number two, all the NDE walas who are like had near-death experience and they crossed over, they could see everything. And that's why Anita Murjani's book also, she could see the future. So these people, when they are called mantra drishta, they are called. So at one period, there will be one meaning of the verse, another period there'll be another. Both are correct because the mantras are very power-packed. We only see like very superficially the meaning, just like Om. I mean, one word Om, they have made a whole Upanishad, and because we went through the grind, how much is in it, and that was not, uske baad bhi aur cheezein hain. It has a sound side of it, it has a word side of it, it encompasses everything and all that. So these mantras are so powerful and so deep that everybody is looking at it like, जैसे होता है ना, हाथी को बोले कि अंधे आदमी को बोला हाथी को देखो, तो कोई बोलेगा कि वो सून की जैसा है, कोई बोलेगा, कोई सून को टच करेगा तो बोलेगा कि oh, it is like a big column or a foot, sorry, इसका leg, पूंछ पकड़ लेगा कोई तो बोलेगा oh, it's like a rope. But all of them are correct only partially. So I think that it's very important that these mantras will have so much deep meaning, and everybody is going to keep coming out and pulling it out, different meanings, and they all are correct because it has a capability of both ways, Nirakar and Sakar both. And like what Joe was saying, that we are stuck in this time, Einstein world of time and space. But when you transcend that, then it's a different thing. And we don't know how to experience, but Some people may have experience. I'm not sure.
सबसे बड़ा experience I have personally. In fact, I'll send an article to everybody. It's called Nadi Jyotisham. These are these sadhus.
Yes, and you told.
Agast Muni has written everybody's life history in Tamil. And I didn't believe it till they translated it for me.
So there was Joe. I saw one. Sorry, who's saying? Go ahead. Who's saying?
Go ahead.
Somebody
No,
spoke.
what I was saying was, so after I got the tapes from them, they translated the tape and gave me a tape, which I still have it. I put it on YouTube. But later on, I saw an article written in India, and everything they said in the article was exactly the way it happened to me. So what I'll do is I'll send an article, you can see what they're saying. And even they ask the question that there are billions of people. How do you know that it is written for you? And what she said was that only few people out of that are supposed to get it, and the circumstances will make you go there. It's not like somebody will come and tell you go there. So it's like the whole universe is working for you to make you go there and get that information, and not only get your information but also timely. Like you cannot get it before or after. So it's like when I went there, it was written there, your father is dead, mother is alive. And your date of birth is this. And if you came early or before, this won't be available to you.
Interesting.
I mean, so I have asked a lot of people who are scholars and who are scientists and all, they say we know everything, but nobody has been able to explain me this. So there are so many things in the world we don't know anything about.
See, even in this world, okay,
Yeah.
if I'm sitting in my room, my vision is extremely limited. I mean, luckily I'm on a height, so I can see a lot more. But suppose if I'm near the sea level, I can only see certain things. The moment I start going up, if I go in an aeroplane, I can see the whole city. So
Right.
so हो गया कि नहीं? Dimension change हो गया कि नहीं? And people who are in the space right now on the what called space station, you see how they see the whole earth together. That's why what they say is so important, because we are looking at, हमको chaos और सब frustration ही दिखाई देता है earth पे. But when they are looking from the top, it looks like a blue jewel, and they said such a thin layer of atmosphere. Please उसको तुम लोग बिगाड़ो मत. वो लोग plead करते हैं हम लोग से. It is such a beautiful jewel that nature has created, God has created, Brahman, whoever you want to call it, and you guys are just fighting among yourself and ruining it. So yeah, go ahead.
One thing also, like you said, when we are in an airplane and we look down, we see the traffic doesn't seem to bother us, nothing seems to bother us. So spiritually also, if we rise above, some of these petty things that we squabble about when we are, they won't matter to us anymore.
Right.
Don't
And,
you think
coming back to Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna asked him that which is a better sadhana? Is it like Sakar or Nirakar? Kaun sa main karu? And Krishna Bhagavan did not answer him directly. He starts telling him, what are the things you should develop in yourself? That is more important. The good qualities you develop, it will take you, and your own nature you will choose the right thing. Sakar or Nirakar,
Right.
And he also mentioned that Nirakar is a lot more difficult. So actually the personal God that they call has a very important role in our sadhana. Which we used to we always think that, just sit down and meditate and all that. But it is like the other path also, you can reach the same spot. But it's easier because, it develops love. And with love, your mind gets purified, basically. Yeah. So it takes a while to kind of swallow all these things. But once you finish the Bhagavad Gita and read it a few times over, then it starts sinking in that it is both.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Has any point, question? The people who never talk should talk. Asha ji, you never say anything. Oh, you want to
Yeah, I was muted. Yeah, I love listening to everyone's wisdom. So I'm listening.
Yeah, I still have something to say about that point, Nirakar and Akar,
Sakar.
Nirakar and Sakar. And I do agree that when you do Sakar Puja, it creates love, it creates devotion. And that love and devotion helps you to uplift the energy easily up. But for ultimate salvation, for moksha, you still have to go beyond the Sakar root. Ultimately is Nirakar when you can get moksha. And I think I explained last time also that, heart is dominated by Ida Nadi emotions. And after chakra, the other chakra comes Vishuddhi chakra, which is in our throat, which is dominated by Pingala. So when this Ida is more active, it takes you directly to in between the eyebrows, where Ida, Pingala, and Sushumna, all three nadis join together. And that's where, when you focus there, you become self-realized soul. But just becoming self-realized soul is not enough. For moksha, you still continue your sadhana. And because only Sushumna Nadi goes further, so no emotions, no physical form, nothing works after that. After that, just your complete merger with the universe works. When your individual consciousness merge with this cosmic consciousness, only then you can get moksha. And that's when it's nirakar. There no sakar, no image works there. So
it's not that it doesn't work there. You know that it is a changing part of the God. That's all. So I think that there in Bhagavad Gita, when they talk about moksha, Kamlaji, because I don't want everybody to get confused over here, self-realization equal to moksha over there. It is not the two different things like you are talking about. It's possible, sometimes to use the terms in a different way. For the same way, like Atma, when we use the word, uski Atma nikal gaya, aise kuch bolte hai na, they're talking about the subtle body. Sometimes they use the word Atma for it, but in Vedanta, Atma and Paramatma is one and the same. It's like the, space I was talking about. So when you keep saying that, maybe the way you are understanding is this way, but I don't want everybody to get confused, because in Bhagavad Gita, when they talk about self-realization, is identical to moksha. And it's called Jivan Mukti also, they say that. While you are in this body to get that moksha. So there is no distinction over there. And maybe some other people can comment.
Ramakrishna went in Samadhi.
Samadhi.
At that time he was there. And then when he came back, he had little bit of connection left. So he could go there and then come back.
So when we use the word samadhi is when we are already self-realized soul, but we go more deeper and achieve samadhi. That's
Right.
what it means.
Yeah, that's what you are talking about.
But that's not, wait, I want to clarify something over here, very, very important. In Bhagavad Gita, he says that once you become that state, that's why it's called Sthita Prajna Ke Lakshan. Sthita Prajna is a self-realized person. He will be working in this world, but he never forgets that final thing that I am God, and in the sense that everything is Brahman. I am that. That's why in the 4 Mahavakyas, I think one time I had done those 4 Mahavakyas from the Vedas, that what it is so just because he's working in the world and he seems like he's forgotten and technically in samadhi all the time. It's like, actor who is acting, he doesn't forget who he is, but he's acting. That's all it means so this is the message of Bhagavad Gita, and that's why he picked up Arjun and he told him, while fighting the war, you don't forget. Put your mind, me meaning here, not Krishna Bhagavan, the body, me meaning over here, that Brahman. And that's when you do all your action. So when we are talking about, and that's why I think Bhagavad Gita is so revolutionary, that it brought that to the world. Anybody can do it anytime, and you can still achieve that. You don't have to be sitting in the cross-leg samadhi and things like that. You can be fighting a war and be self-realized. So because what happens with the Vedas and all that, and Krishna Bhagavan is going to talk about in chapter 4, I had given this knowledge, he said, to Sun God, and then Sun God, it passed on. It somewhere got लुप्त हो गया ये ज्ञान. बिकॉज हम दूसरे लोग क्या करते हैं, वो अपना अपना कुछ डाल के उसमें कंटामिनेट हो जाता है. जस्ट लाइक दिस वर्ण व्यवस्था कंटामिनेट हो गई ना इंडिया में. भगवान नेवर सेड कि वर्ण व्यवस्था इज ओनली फॉर इंडियंस. ही वॉज जस्ट टेलिंग ऑफ 4 different temperaments of people, this humanity. When humans are born, there are 4 different temperaments. So America, whether you're in America, Timbuktu or India, it's going to be the same. हम लोग ने इंडिया पे थोप दिया because उन्होंने उसका कूड़ा कचरा बना दिया वहाँ पे. So that same thing happening with all the gyan, Brahma gyan, that everybody is putting their own stuff, and it got contaminated, and Bhagavad Gita is clarifying all those things. And that's why, like it is considered one of the authorities. Brahma Sutra, this and the Upanishad. There are the 3, Prasthanatraya they call it, 3 foundations of Sanatan Dharma bolo, Upanishad bolo. So I really like to go by what Krishna Bhagavan is saying. Because otherwise we get confused with the other stuff. That's all is my since we are studying Bhagavad Gita, it's good to kind of see from Krishna Bhagavan's perspective. Whether somebody believes it or not, it's up to them. That's why I say I'm not telling anybody to change their opinion and all, but it is my job over here to bring that out as best as I can, correctly what Krishna Bhagavan is saying. And in the end, then you do your own mananam and figure out what you want to believe.
Also, mainly what you are saying, Kamlaji, is moksha means you are merged with the consciousness.
Yes.
So every human being at certain stage can be taken over by consciousness and perform different tasks. Even in this Gita I read, when Arjun came to him after Mahabharat that give me that gyan again, he says, वो परमात्म तत्व जो मुझे उस वक्त था अब नहीं है, so I cannot give that. So even Krishna said that. So what I'm saying is that Paramatma Tattva Hona is not just one technique of yoga, but it can be through many other reasons. You could be performing a task in Paramatma Tattva, and so you have moksha at that temporary level. I know
there are people out there who instantly got this knowledge. A lot of people listen to Sadhguru. If you look at his, he said he went on the Chamundi hill, he sat over there for a few hours, and he got self-realized. And he was not particularly looking for it, but he got that experience. And then we have so many other, even Yogananda in your SRF, if you read his book, he kept telling his guru, can you please give me that experience? But he was not ready. बहुत जिद की तो गुरु ने दे दिया experience. He said he could not handle it because his mind was still not pure. So it was like, जैसे हमको हमारी teacher बताती थी, you take a small bulb and you blast some strong electricity and वो burned हो जाएगा. So you got a equipment बड़ा होना चाहिए. Finally, when he got purified in his mind and heart and all that, तब उनको self realization का हुआ. Then he saw the 360 degrees like Joe was talking about. He could
also, when you go in that mode, then you don't know what you're doing or what you're saying. I mean, I even Sadhguru goes through that. So even Vivekananda, like he'll go anywhere and they'll say which topic you want to talk about. And he has written that a voice will come to him and tell him what to say. So the idea is that you get connected and then your entity is gone. And so the words coming out of your mouth is not yours. I mean, I know you will say
No, it is
that's
true,
not
true,
possible,
true.
but that's the way it works.
You become the instrument. You become
Yeah.
the instrument.
Yeah, but there are so many instances when they say that we all know that Paramahansa Yogananda was a self-realized soul, but then we use this so many times that he was meditating there and then he went into sadhana. That's what, when he had this deep connection, you are self-realized, but still you have to go little higher to have that deep connection there. So
See,
anyway,
the way somebody asked a question to Sadhguru, how do you sit when you are talking? So he sits in a particular yoga pose, and it was so interesting. He said one portion of his leg is touching in the bottom, and it gives him clarity to anything he says. So essentially, he's making that connection through that yoga pose.
yeah, that's why these yoga poses are so important.
No, but what I'm saying is, so there are many ways.
You know,
of doing this.
Yeah, there are so many science behind it, because when they sit down, they shut off the Ida Nadi, which is they sit in such a way that their AD touches the Ida Nadi. It stops the emotional part of our body.
Right.
And the logical part start working, and through logical part, then they get that higher knowledge.
Right.
So anyway, we can end this discussion, because
Just
at this
okay.
stage,
I had a question quickly, a follow-up question for Joe. So, Joe, when you said that when Sadhguru sits in a yoga position where one foot touches the bottom, his bottom or the ground?
No, he's touching. I think he's touching.
The ground, I think.
I can send that video which he talked about.
not the ground. He touches
His
the
bottom.
bottom part of his body.
Okay. That's
he
it.
touches
That's
his-
it. Yeah.
Let's be frank. He touches a portion of his anus.
Yes, left side of his anus.
Yeah.
See, the
So-
thing
so-
is that the way I look at it, one
Manju,
point I want to make.
Manju is trying
Oh.
to say something, but Manju, you are
Oh.
muted. I can't hear you.
Manju, okay, I'll unmute Manju. Let's
Manju,
see.
you are mute.
No, I cannot
can
unmute
put the
her.
mute.
You have to do it yourself. I cannot
Yeah.
unmute you.
Manju, we did not hear you.
He's comparing his body
Now.
like to a TV, like a TV antenna. When you had in the olden days the TV where you went up to the terrace and you arranged the antenna in the correct angle, and you got the Doordarshan when we just started, and you got the thing. So he's talking that your body, because he is as a yogi, so you can distinct your body and all the cosmic energy, and that's how he knows everything, and he can talk on any subject.
Yeah.
So because his body, he has used his body in such a way that he can use his body like that. We've not reached that stage.
No,
And I
thank you.
think when it comes,
Sorry, I mean, I just needed that clarity because I was a bit confused.
because
I had heard that sometimes when you are in touch with the ground, also you get certain vibrations. So
No,
I was
that
not
is
clear
very-
whether when you said bottom, you meant the ground or you meant a part of it.
No, I meant
your
like
body, your own
Yeah.
body and your basic chakras.
Since
I'll
we are
send you that article.
Yeah.
I can explain that. That's called Siddhasan.
Right.
One is
Yes,
Siddhasan, जिसमें
Siddhasan, but
mark
Siddhasan,
बैठ-
if we sit in Siddhasan, nothing will happen.
Yes.
You and I can also sit in Siddhasan, but we are not going to be able to do that.
Because we are not the right instrument. वही तो मैं बता रही हूँ कि see, the thing is, this is what it is.
You have to think of he compared like how a TV is.
Yes.
A TV and an antenna.
Yeah.
So when you make your body that shuksham that you can connect
Right.
yourself like that. We are not at that stage.
Yeah.
See, you can go
And-
through
and
go through any method and reach there. So you don't have to go through the yoga method. If you do the bhakti, you will reach the same thing. That's all I'm saying.
Like that says that everybody is going to go through moksha. Everybody will get moksha. खाली नंबर में फर्क हैगा. कोई फर्स्ट है लाइन में तो कोई 11 है तो कोई 21 है, पर मोक्ष तो सबको ही मिलेगा.
See,
कोई ऐसा नहीं है जिसको मोक्ष
I
नहीं
know, but
मिलेगा.
all I'm trying to say is that जो अगर साधना करेक्टली करेगा, उसको उसका ऑटोमेटिकली ईदा और पिंगला वो हो जाएगा, क्या बोलते हैं, बैलेंस हो जाएगा.
We don't have to think कि अभी मेरे स्टमक में गया है कि मेरे इंटेस्टाइन में गया है. We don't have to think. When we eat the खाना, तो खाना अपने आप डाइजेस्ट हो रहा है ना. So we don't have to think.
True. That's all I'm saying. ये नहीं कि you have to sit in that position, तभी तुमको पूरे संसार का ज्ञान मिलेगा. Krishna Bhagavan was standing up and giving him the ज्ञान over there in the battleground. He was not sitting with his sword. So I think we have to be we should not get fanatic about these things. We should have a very big open mind about it. That's all I'm trying to say.
It's not theoretical at all.
Yeah.
And there's so many different ways. And every individual has got his own story.
Yeah. True.
You can't dissect and bisect all these things.
No.
You have to take not into history, but take it like a mystery. It's a mystery.
That's a good one,
the
Manju.
mystery.
Very good one, yeah.
Yeah, solve the mystery. There's no other way.
I think Arjun was not sitting in the right pose. That's why 18 chapters for him to get the gyan.
Very true.
Okay, this is Sushilji's conclusion. Okay, that was a good, nice joke to end this. Or बोलिए.
Everybody has their own unique way of getting moksha. That's what I was trying to say.
I think I like Vivekanand's statement that जितने लोग हैं ना उतने path हैं. सबका अपना unique path है, So, okay.
ये है, फिर नेक्स्ट क्लास में मिलते हैं.
Okay.
अपने अपने पाथ पे चलते हैं.
Yes.
Okay. Namaskar.
Okay. Everybody, Hari Om.
Hari Om. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, Hari Om. And last parting shot, I wanted to follow up on what Sushilji said. And he said that Arjuna took that long. So we will all in this 1 week practice the correct pose. And then next week when Umaji tunes in, nobody will be here because we will all have achieved the Gyan.
I know, I'll be talking to myself, Meeraji, then.
Good one.
Okay, but thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you. It was wonderful.
Thank you all for your contribution.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Okay, bye.